Mom, these days I've been watching MythBusters. Did you ever heard about this show? Because, well, I heard it before by Alan. He strongly advises me to watch it, but I didn't because at that time I didn't have time. Uh, that time I was watching Once Upon a Time. But now my dad wants me to watch science stuff, and I like MythBusters, the show, so I started watching it. Well, Alan watched it too, but wow, like when I first look at it, it has 18 seasons. They've been doing this like for 30 years. They've been filming MythBusters since maybe they are only 40 and some 40-ish years old, and then now I think they are like 50 or something like that. Oh yeah, the recent episode that I have just watched is Paper Armor. Yeah, I'm not hearing it wrong. It's literally Paper Armor. 我这生个逼。
皇帝是吧？不是，有点血。你赶快点，快点来！你把尺拿过来。
I've been watching Paper Armor. Literally, the three Mythbusters, they are trying. Well, there is a rumor on the internet that. Rumors say that if you make armor out of paper, it would be the same as steel. It would be like just the same because well, paper as I have know is pretty strong actually when laid in layers, and it's not really less than steel. So I think this myth is not gonna be busted. It's gonna be confirmed because sometimes a paper is very strong, and since it's made out of wood, well, I think so. Well, in the other hand, steel, I think it has, well, some good points. That, well, the steel is very strong, certainly, but it's not that strong, because, sometimes you can just, like a gun, you can just shoot through it. But like paper, if you shoot it, it will just collapse, be shorter, and that will give some resistance in internet, and then you will not be hurt. Like you putting armor, and this is just like, this is the armor. You hit it, and it's just gonna be like this. So I think paper armor is gonna beat the steel armor. Well, the MythBusters started to test which paper is better or steel is better. I don't know that yet, but they compared it, and they got they got a bunch of results. At first, they test it's like a hammer, and well, paper has pretty good results. It's just fine, just like steel. In the second test, they used a sword, and to go against the metal, it's sort of cramped a little bit, but on paper it cut a few pages. And other than that, I think this time paper actually beat steel. And then they test the bow and arrow, which actually they are both the same result, which the arrow shoot through the paper, and it also shoot through the steel. So I think bow and arrow is actually a very strong weapon. Well, and then the last one that they tested is actually, well, gun. You know, guns actually are made from a long time ago. It's just like 18th century. They already got guns, and they can shoot at people, or some Americans. They can. The guns, well, they're pretty simple. I don't think, but I don't think that is gonna just shoot us harder than the gun that I got there, Nerf rifle, because it's really weak sauce. Because well, sure you got some of that gun stuff, like the one that. What do you? What do you say? The one you light it and well, there are some explosive in the gun, and that thing I don't know how to call that, but yeah, that thing, sure, the gun has it, but it's not really better than the bow and arrow. Well, both the paper armor and the steel armor, well, they're okay with it, but after a century, they got a 19th century gun, and that gun is way better than that, and it should right through the paper armor and the steel armor. So you get some results, and then we see that paper paper you make armor out of paper. It actually could be the steel armor, and actually another thing is that paper armor beats steel armor in another way. It's light. Well, like soldiers, we are sort of a weaker, and we carry paper around. It's already uh, it's already well the way this. Yeah, how do you say that again? Man, I forgot that word. Oh yeah, it's already so heavy, but if you carry a steel armor around, it's like the heaviest thing in the world. I cannot imagine carrying 10 pounds of steel around. Well, I think this is confirmed that actually a paper can beat steel, but you cannot use paper armor for so long because steel you can use it for a long time, but on some rainy days the paper will just get wet and it could not really perform as well as steel. So that myth being confirmed, that we go on another myth, which is can doing something in video games actually make you better at doing something in the real world? Well, I think maybe. Well, if you have not know nothing about something, much like, yeah, I know there is a game called Golf and Golf. Maybe I don't know. I don't really know how do I pronounce that. Well, I know nothing about Golf. Golf? Never mind. I know nothing about that, but I don't think playing a video game is actually gonna make me better than that, because you are just going to have something like this, and you do this. It's not the same weight, and you don't know how much you need to do it and actually get a real hit in the real world. But in computers, playing golf, you actually never miss, because that's the whole point about the game. If you miss, it's gonna be so hard and so hard. Well, I think so of that, but maybe playing something else in a game that actually maybe will make you better at something in the real world, like maybe in a video game you're flying a spaceship, and sometimes there are something like spaceship and the video game spaceship, they're much alike, and maybe you can play video games of spaceship. You can actually driven one. You can actually drive one. Well, as I have seen on TV shows, the kids are like, yeah, I've played that on video games. I'm pretty sure I can drive this maybe Time Machine or something like that. They played it in video games, and they seems to be pretty good at in real life. But I don't know that yet, so I'm just gonna tell you that how Jamie and Adam's results are. Well, first, Jamie goes to the computer and play video games, which Adam got a real life teacher teaching him. Well, they first competed, and actually Jamie is better than Adam. But do you know how the golf game works? I'm pretty sure that you don't. The golf game is first you just hit the ball and you go a long range until will see, how long will how long gonna how many times are you gonna hit to get the ball into the hole? You know, the lesser the better. The lesser you win the game, and the fewer the better. You just win the game. Well, and now we stop talking about the rules. Actually, Jamie played in video games, and at first he seems to know something about a girl, but no, he doesn't really know anything about it afterwards because the video game you just can't miss on the video game, which you just have a stick that is just plastic. But in the real life, you got metal, which um, is heavier in the real world. So you cannot compare that, and maybe you hit it in the real world, you just miss. But well, in the real life, Adam gets a teacher teaching him. He's really getting better at it because, well, this is the traditional way. They practiced and they practiced, and actually they got a it maybe will just make you even worse. Well, I have not played a lot of video games, but actually I've heard someone say, well, playing video game it will definitely make you feel better, and well, that is what video games do. But as a person that have not played a lot of video games, so let's just say maybe it will not improve you, and maybe it will improve you because I don't know yet. Well, as this has been busted. Well, yeah, now I know why it's called Mythbusters. Yeah, because they bust myth. You know, Mythbusters. Because there are a lot of myths and they just bust them. Maybe, yeah. They see a lot of scenes in movies and they replicate them and see if it really will happen. And now let me tell you another story, which is, you know, Hollywood, right? Hollywood, you know, making movies and all, you need to add a little bit of kaboom. Well, they do not really use real like TNT bomb because that will hurt a lot of people. So they use something like a mixed something. The mixed two things together, and you need a high power rifle. Yeah, high power rifle is kind of a gun, a strong gun. Not that strong actually. It will just set up an explosion. Well, the myth is, someone said on the internet, you put a lot of those Hollywood bombs in a car's backseat, and another car hit its tail, and the whole car would just explode. Is that true? Well, at first I think yeah, that could be true because bomb has hit Eagle's explosion. I played bombs before, like those small bombs, and you just nailed it on the ground and it explodes. Well, at first I thought it worked about it will work the same way for that kind of bomb, but it didn't. At first, they set a car on the ground. Yeah, you see, this is a car, and this is another car. Yeah, this is the first car, and on here there is a lot of those kind of Hollywood bombs. And they set another car here, and they kaboom. Well, it didn't really explode. It just crashed it, and nothing more else happens because that car was not moving enough speed. Well, a high-power rifle that could move like it was really fast, and it hits it, and it will create an explosion on those kind of Hollywood bombs. Well, then, since the team thinks they need more speed, so that is the best part. Well, I have always wondered about rockets. Rockets, for space. I never think that they could work on the ground, and which they did wonderfully. They used the rockets and they put them on a car on trail, one wheel trail. I don't know how did that work, but the rocket fired up, and that was intense. That was a lot of speed, but it still didn't set up the bomb. I don't know why. So that's well, they say it's busted, but I think maybe you change the type of bomb that could possibly happen because there is gas in the engine, and I don't know if fire can set up those bombs because I think it probably can. So maybe it will explode and set off those kind of guns. Everything has, well, yeah, maybe and maybe. Well, anyway, since that myth is busted, here comes another myth. The myth is about like, yeah, the four cars. Mom, watch carefully because this is a little bit of hard to understand. Wait, I gotta get another. Oh, here. Uh, okay, I can't do that. Okay, I'll do this. Look, this is a person, and this is a desert. There are four cars just running around, and they created a sandstorm, which one car goes by and kidnaps this person, and then they run away. And there is a spy camera on the sky, and the sky. Well, in the movie, the sky camera didn't see which car kidnapped the person, which I say maybe it's possible because I don't know. Maybe it's sandy desert, and well, it would. But on high ground, I think it is able to watch if. Well, I don't think that the four cars running around will create really much sandstorm, and they won't cover up their traces, which that won't work. Well, yeah, the speed isn't high enough, which the Mythbusters actually tested out that part, but actually they won't be able to see around it, and if you're just in a sandstorm, you can't really see that much. So that is just like totally busted because you can't see it in a sandstorm. So they built a little protection thing. Yeah, there are a lot of these kind of things, and they do this and they run in circles. That is how it works. What? Yeah, about I know. Well, at first, that didn't work. You can't steal. still can't see and you can't ride a car or drive the car. So they came up with another plan, which two cars just running and running. On there's two sides. And they run and they run and run. No, jeez, why do you break it? They run and they run and they run. There is another two cars on this way, creating a sandstorm, which is big enough, which the camera, the drone won't see. Which one car kidnaps, and they go away. Well, the camera won't recognize which car he ran off with. But this myth isn't isn't busted or confirmed yet. There is another chance because a drone, it would have infrared cameras, which infrared cameras, they can see how hot the person is. I mean, like, I have an infrared camera on my eye and I can see this is cold, but my hand is warm and you can totally see it. It's all red, but this is blue. Well, infrared cameras, they can, let's just say, they can see heat signatures. And which they could see if the two kidnapping cars came and maybe go with this one. They will see a heat signature moving here, maybe to here, and down. They will see it. Well, that is not busted yet, which is they could use just use CO2 cartridge, which they stop a fire. They use that, and it would totally block a infrared camera, which they have, and they covered it all up. The infrared camera has no idea where the heat signature has gotten. So that was a successfully planned. At first, I thought it was gonna work, but at last it worked, and it did not work. Which the original plan couldn't work, but there is another plan which covered the whole story, and let's just say this one there is that's possible, but if you put this kind of scene to the movies, it wouldn't be cool enough. So Hollywood chose this, and was wrong. But maybe in the next time Hollywood makes a movie, they should ask Mythbusters to test all of it first. Well, that myth is busted, just like that show. Well, let's talk about another myth, which is about blue ice. Have you ever pooped or peed in an airplane? In peeing in an airplane, actually, there is a blue liquid that cleans the toilet, and maybe sometimes the plane goes malfunction, which the myth suggests, and it will form a big piece of ice, and it would form a big piece of ice, and then would as the temperatures rise, the big ice will drop down and be a dangerous weapon and actually hit someone. Well, at first I thought, I don't really think that is possible though, because any machine could malfunction, but I don't know about being a whole ice part. Well, yeah, sometimes the blue sky there is very low temperature. You could get a temperature like minus 40 or something degrees, and high wind speeds, which would just blew a big chunk of ice and then lie down. There are two situations. One is you fall a whole chunk of ice and it would fall down, but there is a big leak. That is the first situation, but no, that didn't happen because it won't form ice that quickly, and it would just be a half ice and half water liquids just falling down, and that was just like foam, and it wouldn't hurt anyone. So they came up with a more better plan. They leak little by little, and the wind speed is just enough, increasing like the first this big, and then bigger, and then bigger, and then bigger. And as the heat turned on, there won't be enough ice to support the big ice ball to stick on the plane, and it would fall down. Well, at least that's the theory. It will fall down, and it could and it falls down, and it could hit someone, be a deadly weapon. But that is the second part actually they test about. Will a big chunk of ice just fall down and then hit someone? Because the ice they fall down, maybe just melting the water, which the three Mythbusters actually tested about. They have a big bucket of ice, which is just like the shape of ice, and then drops down, and bam! It actually won't just alter the water. It would have some ice left, which will be a dangerous weapon. Which is the part that I hate about. But that happens really not that possible, because there are three parts that have to be malfunction when a big chunk of ice just falls down. Well, I think that is not possible, so I don't think we have to worry about when a big plane comes, and we're already worried that toilet poops and stuff will fall down, and that would be just yucky poo. Well, that myth it is will conform. Big balls of ice could come. Big blue balls of ice could come down the sky in any day. But what I have to say now, it's confirmed. But we actually have to worry when big planes are coming down, because maybe will 100% one in 100%, a big chunk of ice is just gonna fall down and hit you in the head, and you be dead. And no one wants that, right? Well, when that myth confirmed, let me tell you another story. This is more exciting, actually. Yeah, when I write in Chinese conversations, I write about the things that can fly on sky, dive in water, and also walk on land. That may be futuristic, but now they have created a simple thing that is actually like a thing that can not walk, but it's like riding a bike in the land, but also like riding a bike in the water. Well, the Mythbusters have to confirm that, which that thing can float on water, and you can ride on it. First, you need a bike, and you need some steel, and then you just need eight big bottles. But 8, yeah, 8 bottles of that. So they actually tested the theories out, and they made a thing like that in their own, and they tested in a swimming pool, but it didn't go as well as they thought it. Saying as if you did not focus into it, it will just sink. So if that part, turn over, and then that couldn't just be over for the myth. It's too early, which they think of another idea, which Adam thinks that he can make it better, which he actually did, but more complicated with materials that you won't get in a normal day. But a bike And 8 bottles, that is the simplest thing you can find in the galaxy. Seriously, man. But, well, he made it and they tested out in a lake or resort or something like that. And Adams actually beat Jamie's, but well, Jamie's is actually more adjustable, which is the one which you can find stuffs all over the land. What that is actually, I think, is better. Well, normal people can make it. You just have to add a little bit of pizzazz in it, and you can have that kind of a bike. Well, I don't think I should turn my bike into a bike like that because, well, you can ride on land. Well, you can ride on water too, but there is not a lot of waters around Xi'an, so I think I'm gonna skip it out. So let me tell you about another thing, which is also a myth, which this is pretty common. Will a piece of glass, very high buildings that will just fall off and then hit you in the head and split you in half? Well, for my theory, I think maybe it would, or it wouldn't, because high buildings they use a thing that they use a kind of glass that you just fell on the ground and it will shatter into thousands, maybe millions of pieces, and it won't even hurt a bug. Well, so I don't think that is actually quite possible, but maybe glass like that, it would just break on your head and you'd be dead. Or split in two, as the theory says. Well, they put that into the test. Like high building glasses, they fall and they break on your head and you're dead. Yeah. That theory didn't work out as they said. Well, they fall on you, you could be very injured, but no, you would not die, just very injured because it won't catch you in half. That is why they created those kind of glass. But you use the glass that is normal and you use that on somebody and you fall it on him and he would be just like split in two. So I think we should be careful on buildings like this. Wait, like our glasses is made out like the safety kind of glasses. Is our glass like the safety glass? Like the glass that we use, is it kind of the safety glass, which it fell and it will just broke into would it will just break into thousands of pieces.
Yeah.
It is.
Substance small.
Okay. Yeah, but well, I didn't really expect that because our building is trashy. Anyways, well, with that myth just like totally busted. Well, they didn't vote, and they actually split a person into, or not a person. That they created is just like rubber and all, but it's just like a person. Oh well, they split him in two, and that could happen in some buildings. So you should be careful around buildings about not cutting in two. Well, nobody wants to cut in half. Do you want to be cut in half?
No.
So, everybody is good on that. Well, that is possible, but there is another big thing I have to tell you about. The big thing. 等一下，先不要 what the myth is. Have you ever seen a thing that they use in like World War I and World War II, which they throw and it explodes? That is actually a thing as big as the phone, which they do this and there will be a little thing popping, and if you don't hold it, it will explode and you'll be dead. Okay, then. No, that is just weird. Just call it it. You know what I'm saying? Well, the myth suggests if you pull the trigger and the person won't be able to hold it for more than 2 hours. Well, they actually test that out, and it is not true because well, your hands would be tiring, but they won't be like in the movies. They shake because you can't hold them. Besides that, there is actually another possibility, which you holding the grenade. Grenade. Holding the grenade. That is a woman with a lot of things around that are gonna help. You could just find your socks and you tie it on that end so it won't explode. There are a lot of things about it. You can just save yourself. I just think in the movie the woman is just stupid. Let's talk about another myth. The another myth is well, I have watched the myth which it was a special. I think it was like iZombie. Well, I only watched half of that, but now I'm gonna tell you. It's about zombies and oh, not really about zombies. Zombies, but science. Have you ever watched something about zombies? Yeah, Walking Dead. Yeah, everybody has watched that except me. Okay, so in Walking Dead, do you see more people walking around with an axe killing people or a gun? Mom, Mom, when you're watching Walking Dead, you see more people walking around with an axe or a gun? Well, so which do you think is gonna be better? What do you think? Well, congratulations, you are all wrong. Well, in the myth, they actually tested out, which heavily tested out, which the axe you just have to swing, which the gun you have to reload, and sometimes one shot you cannot kill the dead, which they're already dead in one shot. If you're watching their movie, they just shoot them and they're dead. That is just like kind of wrong because yeah, they shoot them on the head, but they are going to have a hard time reloading, and they have maybe less supplies, and maybe they only have axe. You just swing and you swing, and that is all you have to do. Yeah, what could be simpler? So, well, in a fight, I rather be using a gun than an axe, but sometimes axe is a good thing. At first, I thought, of course, gun. What? Are you kidding me? But killing a zombie it takes more than just shoot. I mean, they had, and sometimes maybe you couldn't shoot him on the head. You could miss. Zombies, well, they're one-headed. They're zero-headed creatures, but I understand that. Well, I think it's well, I would do that too. I'd rather be having more, two weapons, but we're asking now if the axe is better or the gun is better. We're just asking about that, not those two combined. Well, axe you just have to swing and you have this swing and you have to swing. That is the most simplest thing in the world. So yeah, I am right. And you just swing, and at last you get a thing which the axe wins, which kills more zombie. But in real life, they get an axe to kill a zombie. That could be like maybe once when you can't kill a zombie or it's not hard enough. Well, that could be all calculated, and they did a challenge which actually the axe wins. So when you're going out to a zombie fight, at first I think I should have a gun and then I could have an axe. But well, the myth. Well, at last they tested the theory out. Actually, yeah, the axe is way more better than the axe is actually way more better than the gun. So you got that. Well then, I have watched another episode which is like pretty cool actually. Well, not that cool, but they actually tested a thing that they can walk on water. I think one of you guys have actually watched the video with me. Yeah, well, but no, they didn't walk on water, but first they tested. But no, it is unreal, and they can't walk on water. Well, at first I thought they could because calculating it. At first I watched it on Wildcrafts, and they can. They can. Maybe it's just a cartoon show. Maybe it was just a stupid cartoon show, but it could have some real, real technology, real science in it, like walk rides, and maybe they put a little science into it. But at first, I got to say that first they have shovel shoes and they have a large tail, and they hope they can walk on water, but they can't. They just I don't know why, just straight hard up can't. Well, let's just face the whole cartoon. Well, lizards and human, they are not the same thing. And have you actually heard one of the lizards in American is actually can walk on water? I forgot how to call those lizards, but there is a specific lizard that can walk on water and land. Well, the lizard just goes. Oh, I forgot. The lizard just goes like if these are his legs, just goes like this, which a flap and flap. There are things between his between his fingers, so it get him water, and that could help him run underwater. At least not for long, but yeah. Well, if humans are that small, maybe using the shovel shoes or something else that could work. But humans are just too big and too fat, and sometimes too much weight. So they just have to do and deal with that. Anyways, let's talk about another myth. Well, the last myth it was busted. At last, they found a way to actually walk on water. Fake it. Well, they just well, you have props and you fill them down in the water, but it's not just about the props. You have to film it in direction, and then you couldn't see the props. So let's talk about another myth. Another myth is just about like um you you are in a house and then you have a toaster and then you have a magazine, and you put the magazine into the toaster, and after seconds, and then the magazine would just go fire, uh, and then you release a bit of explosive gas, and whole room would just light on fire and would explode. Well, at first, the Mythbusters tested could a toaster just light a magazine on fire in just 24 seconds. No, it could not. The less time is just about 2 minutes. And they test and they put enough of explosive air in the room, well, the room they just built, and then they put some, and then they put the burning magazine in. It didn't really explode. It exploded a little bit, but because of the explosive air, it just because of the gas, the air was just helping the fire burn, and the whole house caught on fire. So that is basically what happened, which isn't what I expect. It would just all go boom, 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 boom. That was somewhat disappointing, but that could happen in some way. But you just have to get it in the right amount of air, right amount of fire, right amount of gas. Then you can light the whole house on fire or just boom it. So, have you guys ever played with fire? Have you? So, did anything go horribly wrong? Okay, that was weird. Yeah, nothing would go horribly wrong, but sometimes it will, like that. You have gas, you have fire, and then you have air. You put all those together, you could get a big boom. Mythbusters, there is another thing that I've been wondering. Okay, there is another myth, which is pretty cool. There is a machine and two logs, like two big logs, like even bigger than there to there. Hold on, I don't know, maybe there to there. And then the two logs put in 5 degrees of angle and crushed together. It could crush a car. Well, they tested that out, and do you know how it goes? No, did you? Do, do you know? Well, they all got crushed. Even the cars and the military cars, you could just crush them easily because it's like 50, like thousands of buns of wood, and they just crush together, and it would just go kaboom. The car is down. Well, there. What? Well, the weight is so powerful, and there is actually a funny thing happening in Mythbusters. There is a room filled with explosive air. Then there is fire, and I don't know. They don't know why it didn't explode, and no one wants to check in of the room. So that time they just destroyed the room because no one wanted to go in. That's dangerous. So the next time they did they put a little fan on it, so maybe something go wrong, and the explosive gas would just go away, and then people would want to go to the house. Well, no, not really. So there is another thing. Can you can you swim uh on top of bubbles? I mean, thousands and thousands of like this tiny bubble. Well, that at first I thought, dude, it's just gonna make the water so dense and you could just drown. But no, at last they tested that. Well, they can sort of, but the thing, like, this is an area of water, so well, I don't know what happened. This is you. Whoa, jeez. This is you, and there are this much of bubbles floating around you, and you could just not swimming here. You could just be blown out because I don't know why. Maybe the pressure, or maybe it's something else. You could just being blown out. You couldn't swim in there. Yeah, couldn't. Yeah, well, no, you would be blow out by bubbles. You would be blown out by the bubbles. But you would have been blown away by the bubbles. Yeah, out of the bubble area. So I don't think, Dad, I think I have nothing more to tell.
Okay, tell us about your accident in your eyes. Describe it. Describe it as concrete as you can.
Well, that time I first, I found something on the ground. I was curious. I picked it up, and there's a little hole. I put a pin into it. I seriously put a pin into it, and no, there's a small hole on the bit of explosive thing, and I literally put a pin into it, and then it exploded a little. At first, I was like, "What? Why?" I don't think it would explode, and just explode a little. At first, I feel like something just flashes. I didn't think it would fly into my eye a little bit of thing, and then, oh well, it just did. And at first, I just feel nothing, and then I feel nothing. It was so weird. At first, I think I blinked my eye once, and then nothing more happened. I don't know why. Well, at that time, I was the luckiest out of the unlucky. I was unlucky because it almost hurt my eye. I was unlucky because it hurt my eye a little bit, but I was lucky because it just a little bit of hurt. Because if it hurts a lot, yeah, it's not too serious. Yeah, I should be more cautious. Yeah, well, these days I've been missing Alan because he hasn't come for a long time except yesterday. Well, he told me, well, because there is a new law in Philippines which I forgot what it is, but they have to uh, do passports. Oh yeah, passports they can last for 20 years or 20 months or passports. They can last for a long time. So he and his mom go to place to do passports, but he and his mom decided to stay there for a little bit of vacay. Oh yeah, and it's time for Alan and his vacay. Oh well, that means no school. So he is just what? He just go there with his mom for some reason. Well, at first he didn't want to go, but a change of plans. He go and his mother and stay there for half of his vacay, so they did that. I forgot actually they did that and stayed there for a long time. So actually, well, the day before yesterday, he told me he just came back. So he just go for a vacay, I think so. Like a month, half a month, half a month, I think so.
Last 5 minutes.
What? Why is there another 5 minutes?
Should be 9 o'clock.
Well, seriously, now it's 9 o'clock.
Okay. Okay, over.
Okay.